Welcome, my name is Tashar and this is StarMade. And today we're going to continue working on our universal trading ship. The last time we did an episode on that, we created this area, or this deck with this area in it. And today I want to focus on the deck below that. Well, there's nothing much here yet, of course. But the deck below this has the most space available at the moment, because we've got below that the library and in the middle here the park area, so that takes up a lot of space as well. Because I need all this space for crew cabins, at least bigger than a normal cabin, I think, what you might be thinking. It's more of a small apartment per crew member, or at least crew members, because I did create them already a number of weeks, even months ago, I think. And I made a save of these cabins I created. This is, for example, a family cabin with a small bedroom here and a bigger one over here, and then, of course, a bathroom attached to it. So I made a couple of variations. This is a smaller one without the second bedroom. This is a different interior, and I made one with double beds, and this is a very small one with just the beds and then an attached bedroom or bathroom. So I'm going to have to puzzle a bit how to fit these in to a deck layout, because that's something I'm going to have to struggle with for this deck plan. Because there's one thing I don't like, and that is very long hallways. And I'm afraid I have to implement some long hallways in this deck layout, but I'm trying to prevent them going from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship. That's something I don't like. It's not something that's visually interesting, in my opinion. I started work on this area of the deck around the main front elevator at first, and this was about the time that I blew up my video card off my computer. Yeah, so this episode is a lot later in releasing than I initially planned. Because, yeah, like I said, I fried my video card, so I had to get a new one, and that was a bit more difficult than I initially thought it would be. I'd ordered online, but the delivery was delayed for some components, because I ordered some memory as well and some cables, because of the situation we're in right now. So yeah, it took a little bit longer than I initially planned. But back to the design of my deck layout. I started with this elevator area because there's not a lot of fixed points at this deck level, but we've got the elevator here, the two on the left and the right, and all the way in the back. So those are fixed points. I can't move those. And it also gave me the idea to add points of interest within my deck layout. Like I said, I don't want really long hallways that are really boring and don't have any visual interruption to draw your eye to. So I decided to add this conference room in the middle. It's basically a big area, empty area with a screen at the end, and then I'll probably have to add a formal table in the middle and a couple of chairs to complete it. But it's attached basically to the elevator shaft over here in shape. And then I thought, okay, now I've got this conference room. Now I can add apartments around it. And I did that on this side and on the other side as well. But this is an apartment already designed with the bedroom and the bathroom connected to there. But I thought, okay, if I add a bigger room on this end, and I did that on the other end as well, then I can make this an apartment for an ambassador or something like that. Because it's right next to the meeting room. This could be the VIP quarters for an alien ambassador that's visiting and then needs to, for example, have a meeting with a different ambassador that's housed over here, and then they can meet in the middle over here in the conference room. That's the whole idea behind it. And then I can add a couple of more crew cabins on this end for the supporting staff for both ambassadors, and then continue on this end with the regular crew quarters. I did a bit of decorating of the, I'm not sure what this room is called actually, a formal meeting room for the ambassador or something like that, not sure. So he's got this big chair behind the desk and 2 chairs here for visitors. And then of course the formal logo or whatever it is that represents the faction he's from, and some other furniture. Then on the other end I did something similar, but with different colors and a different symbol on the wall. So there you can see that this is the quarters of a different ambassador. I think the word is stateroom I'm looking for. Yeah, this is a formal stateroom, something like that. And then on this end I just started laying out some hallway paths. It's very dark on this end, and then copying in the standard apartment blocks I created already. But yeah, like I said, I don't want these hallways to get too long and too boring. So I have to think of some visual interesting things to see when you walk around here. Looking at this, you might think, whoa, I'm almost done with this deck already. Well, that's far from the truth, but I did copy in a whole bunch of apartments in this deck layout. But yeah, it's still very just measuring out the distance between the apartments and trying to figure out how I'm going to do the hallway layout. So yeah, it's just very experimental at the moment. But everything seems to fit for the most part. I have some spaces that I can use for other things, like this is probably going to be a storage room. And on this end, for example, I've got this space here. And the idea is to have 2 different sections within this deck layout. We've got our hallways and crew quarters, but we also have these areas where systems are to, for example, power and water and things like that are being provided for the apartments. So you need spaces for that as well. And these areas that are a bit awkward and that don't fit in the apartment will be used for that. So you can go in here and then see the systems that support this deck. So it's a bit dark on this end, but there is a bit of a long stretch of hallway here. And I'm probably going to add a emergency bulkhead in this section over here, so that we can close off part of this deck if it's needed. And then we come here in the middle. This was a part that I wanted to create more of a sort of community, not a park, but a square. And then continue on from there to the rest of the ship in this deck, to the second elevator. And these paths over here I need to take into account as well, because these lead to the side elevators. So I had to create this particular hallway. And after this we can go to this area. I copied over the conference room, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, because I probably want something else on this end of the deck instead of the same as at the front, because that makes it a bit boring if you repeat things too many times. And then fill the rest up with apartments as well. There's 2 other interesting areas on this end still. I've got this big area here that's empty, and on this end as well. And I'm planning to add a well, something that will support this deck, the people that live here. I'm seeing this more as a neighborhood than just a deck with apartments. So the people that live here need to be part of a community. So I'm going to add something like a gym or something like that here that people can go to and then exercise and then go back to their apartment to do the thing they do. So yeah, that's also my plan to add visual interest in this deck layout instead of just having the apartments only here. I am planning to give them all full interiors, but at the moment they're just a bit bare like this. I'm going to have to go through each apartment on its own and then give it a sort of unique interior. Not everything will be possible because they're not that big, but unique enough to distinguish them from each other, I think, like I did with the ambassador quarters. So yeah, as you might have noticed, my focus isn't on the apartment interiors at the moment, but more on the general deck layout and making everything look interesting when you walk through this deck. Over here, as you can see, I started experimenting with the visuals of the hallway themselves, but this is a failed attempt. I do like the blue quarter, but in combination with the green, I thought something like, okay, green from grass and then blue above it from the sky. Yeah, that might look nice, but it really doesn't. It's too cold, in my opinion, so I need a warmer color for that. And I don't like the slabs that I used like this to create this triangle like shape. It's too buzzy. So I'm going to scrap that and then think of something else. I started mapping out this area as well with some greenery in it and some plants that surround it to give it a bit more life and give you a visual interesting spot to look at. And like I said, I will be adding spaces to here as well, like a gym. But let's try a different design for the hallway first. I like this design a whole lot better. It's a lot warmer with orange and not a lot of the slabs that form a triangle. I tried moving the bulkhead, emergency bulkhead, to this section instead of the whole section I had over here. That fits a bit more into basically defining this deck into 3 separate parts. Should one part be breached. It's just a force field door, but this is a bit too prominent, so I'm still going to work on that for a bit. But the hallway itself I do like, with the lights and the colors. And these are the side hallways that lead to the doors of the apartments. So you've got 2 on each side, so 4 apartments per hallway. And then at the end of the hallway, I still got a bit of space left. I'm probably going to add a small breaker room on that end. So basically the power breakers for that particular hallway in those particular apartments, something like that. Then you come here to the central plaza again. The next thing on my list is adding these supporting areas on this central plaza hallway bit. And I decided to add on this end a sort of school and basically where the children can be entertained during the day. So I've got this play area over here. Tried googling some ideas for that. So now Google is basically convinced I'm going to add a playroom to my house. So yeah, my Google history is very strange now. But yeah, I'm trying to work out the layout. I decided to get a very bright color for the wall, so bright cherry yellow works out, I think, with lots of colors and white furniture. That seems to be the trend nowadays for playrooms. And over here, I'm probably going to add some classrooms for the older children, and then a front desk on this end. Okay, this basically is done now as far as the interior design is concerned. I haven't put in a roof yet, but I'm going to get to that. This is the front desk area where teachers can sit during break or something like that. Well, this is the play area for the younger children. So we've got this this glass door over here that we can open and close, so they can play here, do some clay and drawing. And then we've got this screen for a cartoon or something like that. And then this play area over here with lots of cushions on the floor that they can use and play. And then a small bathroom on this end and 2 classrooms on this end. It's just a room with a board at the end. There's 2 different ones, but I probably convert one into a science room and then the other one in a more traditional classroom. But that's the general layout I got for this area. It turned out quite well, I think. But we still have a similar area on this end of the hallway as well. I'm not going to make a copy of the school area over here, but this is going to be, like I said before, a gym. And done. Well, sort of. I did map out the general area with the walls, then added these treadmills. Got a couple of them stationed here, but these are all the exercise equipment I built right now. Still have this entire area in the middle free here to add additional equipment, but I haven't thought of that yet. On this end, I've got this this exercise area for dancing, things like that, with the big mirror at the end of the wall. You can do yoga classes or something like that there. And then next to it, we've got this this bathroom facilities for the people that go here. So yeah, this area is far from done, but I'm just getting it far enough along to get everything mapped out, so I can complete this area. Because we still have a lot of things to do on this end of the ship, with all the hallways and apartments going here. As you can see here, I did change the bulkhead design a bit. It's a bit more, well, a bit less obvious actually. It's still the force field, but yeah, it isn't that prominent as it was before. As you can see here, I try to add some visual interest in the walls as well. So this is, for example, some planters that I recessed in the wall itself. At first I tried to place them in the hallway, but for some reason that made the hallway look cluttered and obstructed. So yeah, it's going to be recessed into the wall itself. On this end, I don't have a lot going yet. It's just the same copy of the conference room as I had on the other end. So I need to work on that first. One thing I mentioned earlier in the video is that I had 2 different areas within this level. The hallways and apartments, and then supporting systems. Well, this is one such area that I more or less finished. So you come in here and then you've got all kinds of electrical equipment and pipes and other electrical things that you can see here. And then you come into this area with more pipes, things like that, and a slanted wall over there. And this is behind the ambassador apartment over here. So that separates the apartment from the rest of the outer space. So this is the wall next to where space is. And then you come over here and then there's going to be more stuff on this end as well. So these areas are a nice contrast to the more warm and colorful areas where the people normally walk around in. So yeah, I quite like that. This is the elevator all the way in the back of the ship. As you can see here below, this is where the library is located. So on this end, I did a whole lot of work with this this area already. We have not a conference room, but something quite different behind it now. These are big doors, but you can open them. Then you create this big open area. Open this as well. This is basically a community gathering area. And we've got this small stage at the end over here. You can have recitals here, or the children can put up a school play for the parents to enjoy. So yeah, we can do a whole lot of things with here for the community of all the people that live on this deck. And we've got some hallways with additional apartments, and then at the end, like I mentioned before in the episode, some electrical equipment for, well, basically the breaker room for this particular hallway. And this continues on to the back. So we've got this hallway that ends at basically the engine room. You can't see. These are additional hallways with apartments, but at this end I didn't have enough space for apartments again. So they're going to be these doors here. These are storage boxes. So people can rent a storage box like this. You've got a similar concept in real life, as you might know. Basically for storing extra stuff that you can't store into your apartment because they're not that big. But yeah, this means that basically the complete deck is filled out. As you can see here, it ends at the wall over here, and this is where the engine room is behind. So everything is in use. I just need to fill up some of the spaces like this here with technical rooms, but that's about it. And the actual hallways to navigate through this particular floor are done, and in my opinion look visually interesting enough, but also similar enough to convey the idea what type of deck this is. Because if you ever walked around in a ship, for example cruise ship or something like that, yeah, hallways can look very, very similar if you don't pay attention. But this worked out quite nicely, I think. Still need to add a lot of details, but that is for later. I'll show you that in a next episode. For now, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think. And if you have any comments, just type them down below, and I'll see you next time.